Line day, we are less than an hour away from the transfer window officially closing, and Liverpool's business is apparently not done yet. Yes, the big names around Liverpool transfer news and media in general have all been talking about it. Fabio Carvalho, Liverpool have agreed a fee with Fulham for the young winger. Now, this has been rumbling on for a couple of days now. It's been rumbling on all day long. Obviously, Luis Diaz was boxed already over the weekend. We know that was a very, very good thing. Wonderful piece of business for the mighty Reds. And this was seen very much as the cherry on top of Liverpool's transfer business. And we are tantalisingly close to this being 100% confirmed. We got some of the latest news over here, which I'll get to. It came originally, Dharmesh Sheth at Sky Sports _ Chef was saying, deal close, Liverpool finalising a deal for Fulham's Fabio Carvalho. Carvalho will return on loan to Craven Cottage until the end of the season. Paul Joyce tweeted, Liverpool have reached an agreement on fee for Fabio Carvalho with Fulham, but the race to get medical and personal terms done by 11. So yes, we have got 30 minutes left of the official transfer window for Liverpool to get it all sorted. Now, there was some talk in the last hour again if Liverpool might be able to ask for an extension to the Premier League if they feel like the deal's all there and ready to be done. They just need to apply for an extension. I think they can get a couple of hours worth of extension to get everything and all the paperwork boxed and over the line. Hello to Dave LFC chat. I'm going to carry on talking on the various bits and pieces. Obviously, the news that Liverpool have agreed a fee with Fulham for Fabio Carvalho. There's more on that, which I'll discuss in a second. But get me your reactions into the live comments right now, and I'll read through some of the best of them in a second or two. But yeah, welcome if you were just joining us. As Liverpool look to put the icing on the cake, the cherry on top of some stellar last-minute transfer business work. The first window, it seems, for the incoming Julian Ward is the replacement for Michael Edwards in the hot seat of the transfer god at Anfield. But yeah, so Paul Joyce was saying the fee was reached an agreement on fee. The race is to get the medical done. Fabrizio Romano, who I'm now a close personal friend of, I did a podcast with him the other week, the first time I ever met him. He was really nice. Fabio Carvalho to Liverpool. Here we go. Deal in place for 5-year contract. Medical ongoing in order to sign the paperwork before deadline. Carvalho has accepted all clauses into the contract. Wow. It's a race against time now. Fabio Carvalho will stay at Fulham on loan. So yes, this appears to be the big stretch of it, is that Liverpool have agreed. What we know about Carvalho is he's 19 years old. He's having a fantastic season, this breakout season really in the Championship, as they are walking the Championship top of the league at the moment. In terms of his goal output, it's been fantastic. I'll have a little look into that for you guys in a second so we can go through the exact numbers and what have you. But he's having this great season, but his contract is due up. Now, his contract is due to expire at the end of the season. But because, and this is a really important thing, I've seen a few people mention it in the comments, he's a homegrown player. Now, home is a weird thing these days because there's two types of homegrown. There's homegrown in came through your academy, and there's English, and he falls into that category. I believe he's got Portuguese heritage, but he classes as an English footballer for all in work permits intents. Which is obviously very important in the post-Brexit world. Anyone who's played Football Manager this season will know what a nightmare it is to try and sign players who aren't English, because there's a lot more hoops to jump through. But 19 years old is future ahead of him, and Liverpool basically left in this situation where they could potentially get him on a free at the end of the season, but because there is a structure in place in English football, which means that you have to pay a tribunal fee, effectively. And this is what happened with Harvey Elliott. Liverpool ended up paying around £4 million for the player, where in a normal world, though, as we understand free transfers, they could have maybe got him for nothing. Now, what we also know, and this is where Liverpool's bargaining has been, what looks like it's been fantastic today. So we've seen a few bits and pieces drip thread through the media today. We saw, our friend Carl Markham tweeting earlier on, was talking about how basically Liverpool wanted it was now or never. So what they laid it down was they said, if we can't get an agreement in place for him now, we will not be back for him in the summer. And I think that was a little move just to kind of say to the player, listen, you're our man, we want you. But the problem is there would have been a feeding frenzy at the end of the season. And from my understanding, those tribunal rules apply far less to clubs outside of England. It's largely done to safeguard the smaller clubs from being picked upon by bigger clubs, being Bayern Munich, as they probably call it in the Bundesliga. And it was sort of interesting. We did an update show at like 4:30 this afternoon, and Steve kind of made reference to this, talking about how it means that like Scottish clubs can pick up young English talent because of that. And so basically what Liverpool were entering a situation is, and Fulham were entering into this situation too, by the way, where at the end of the season, like let's say Borussia Dortmund come in and go, right, we'll have him. Well, they'd get far less money for him because those tribunal rules don't apply in the same way to clubs on the continent in Europe. So Liverpool kind of laid it out for Fulham and said, look, we're happy to give you a fee for him now to make sure we secure the transfer. We're happy for you to have him for the rest of the season, which means it doesn't upset the apple cart in terms of your, push for promotion to the Premier League. And it also means that, look, there's a very strong chance that you end up losing him for no money, or next to no money in the summer. So take your gamble, because I think a lot of people thought Liverpool might just come back for him in the summer, and I guess that would have been Fulham's position, saying, well, you're going to come back for him anyway. £5 million now. Maybe we take it to tribunal. If we got 4 million for Harvey Elliott, this kid's done even more. He's played even more senior games. Maybe we get an even bigger tribunal fee than the £5 million being offered. And Liverpool had to play a little bit of hardball by the looks of it and just say, like, no, it's do or die. It's today or nothing. And it looks like finally, really late on into the day, there's a possibility that they might get this one across the line. One other interesting side note to this, Kiefer O'Neill of The Athletic also reporting Neco Williams could yet make the move to Fulham on loan. Talks with Liverpool are ongoing. This one is going down to the wire. That is another fantastically interesting wrinkle there. Kurt there in the comments asking the question of it. We don't know, no update on that as yet, of course, but it looks like Liverpool was certainly prepared to entertain offers for Neco Williams. It looked very likely at the start of the day that Neco Williams was going to end up a Bournemouth player. That hasn't materialised. We've seen Nat Phillips move to Bournemouth instead, and it looks like, it's one of those situations where I think there's I kind of summarise this as Bournemouth are on the phone to Liverpool for Neco. It's not working out for them, and they go, what about Nat Phillips? And they go, okay, well, while we're on the phone, there you go, let's get Nat Phillips sorted. And it looks like while Liverpool are basically on the phone in the meeting over Fabio Carvalho with Fulham, they're going, well, what about Neco Williams? Do you reckon we can have a look? And it's interesting because, of course, we know he can play in a more advanced position. He plays further forward for Wales at times. We know Neco Williams is a good player. I think it's a bit of a step down, if I'm being honest. I don't know. Personally, I'd be keeping Neco for the rest of the season because I think I want us to be overstocked. But perhaps there's a situation whereby they're looking to James Milner. And I know, look, I'm not made up with Milner being Liverpool's second choice right back, although I think he'll do as good a job of it as anyone is likely to do, because that's just how brilliant James Milner is. I was quite encouraged by the Neco Williams signs in the last couple of weeks in terms of what he's been able to deliver. And I thought, I'd rather have him as understudy, to be honest, but I do wonder whether now that Diaz is in, now that Harvey Elliott is back in training as well, there's less opportunities for Milner to play in midfield, and so it means that you get to keep Millie Sweet for the last half of his half season of his Liverpool contract, sees Liverpool days out as a playing player rather than just being a bench player, and there's a little bit of a gamble, and in doing so, okay, when you've given Neco Williams half a season to go and jumpstart his career and either get a good fee for him in the summer or come back really prepared to fight with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Right, that's some super chats. Keep your comments coming in. I'll do a few more bits and pieces on the breaking news and what have you. Andy Ahmed, £5 super chat. Thank you, Andy. Amazing young signing. Good to see us building for the future. Can't wait to see Carvalho's development under Klopp. Absolutely. And Liverpool are doing some tremendous business when you look at, like, future proofing this Liverpool squad. And look, you can't future proof in the in true sense. You can try your best. But yeah, I'm gonna get Vinny O'Connor up because people keep mentioning Vinny O'Connor. Thanks, Steve sending me text messages because I told them to. Thanks so much. I will look at the video Connor tweet in 2 seconds. But yeah, look at like signing Gordon, signing Peter Luger, Bobby Clark. Is that the kid from Newcastle? And there's a few others that we and Carvalho being a great example of it, is making sure that Liverpool have got a really good balance of ages. Let me read this before I step any further into this. Right. Vinny O'Connor saying, regarding the race against time for Carvalho deal to get done, clearly both the transfer and loan back need to be completed. If the loan can't be done, then the transfer doesn't go ahead. So time is a big issue. That was just 4 minutes ago. And 48 minutes ago, he was saying with fee agreed race to get everything completed now. So maybe there will be a negative twist in the tail here. Can Liverpool actually get this done in time? And that's where we're at now, sitting on a knife edge, waiting for youth players to get done on deadline day. It's nice to have something to talk about, isn't it, to be fair? Right, I've got a couple more super chats here. Thank you so much for pointing out Video Connors tweet. If any more stuff comes in, do let me know. Anakin Skywalker with $4.99. Wow. Anakin Skywalker, the man himself. Maybe he's enjoying the transfer window by getting legless. Hey Paul, those Colombian Reds are absolutely over the moon to see Lucho play for the mighty Reds. Can't wait to see him torch the Prem's right backs. Yeah, I mean that's boss. Any other Colombians actually? I'm keen to see like how the response is here. What I really love about football is when nations have this like star player. God, Council wasn't having that one. I'm sorry. Star Wars fans amongst us probably didn't even go for that. You saw it. And how nations go wild for individual stars and really get behind them and really support them when they move. And it's like they love the fact that they get the success. You could see it actually with James Rodriguez signed for Everton, how much that meant and how much that was sort of celebrated in Colombia and stuff was just cool. And I love the fact that now we've got a completely new nation's hero, something very new to Liverpool, which is boss. I love stuff like that. Amit S 449, thank you so much, Amit. Big up Paul. Thanks. I'm seeing lots of fans saying Carvalho similar to Coutinho. Is that due to his play style? I think it's due to his hairstyle, to be perfectly honest. I wonder if I've still got that there. It just looks like Phil Coutinho, doesn't he? I mean, yeah, I think that's it. Is that due to his play style? Because that's some comparison and exciting. Well, it's interesting actually, so I'll just quickly get it. You won't be able to see it clearly on the screen, but I'll explain as much as I possibly can here. Fabio Carvalho, 19 years old. So far this season, 19 appearances in all competitions for Fulham, 7 goals, 4 assists. He's played every one of his games in attack. I wonder if I can make that focus a little bit more on it. No, but yeah. Anyway, go to transfer bar and look at the stats for this season. But yeah, he's played as an attacking midfield. He plays in behind Mitrovic. Now, it could be if he's like Coutinho, it means he's like the Coutinho that everyone thinks Coutinho was when we sold him, which wasn't really the Coutinho that Liverpool had. Liverpool's Coutinho played from the left-hand side of a front three, or so occasionally in a 10, I guess, in a 4-2-3-1, or from the left in a 4-4-2 diamond. Sorry. And then, actually, Delbert Wilkins enjoyed our cameo on 4-4-2's Luis Diaz song. Yeah, me and Chris. It's a blink and you'll miss it cameo on the latest 4-4-2's video, but do go and check that out. Yeah. Dean's just seemingly just loves reusing those character models, and apparently I think doing our voices. Once voiced it, and he's never asked me to come back and voice myself again. Just seems to think he can do a generic Scouse accent for us. I love it, really. Yes. So sorry. To the point that Coutinho comparison, I'm seeing lots of that. The fact is, he's a dribbler, he's a goal scorer, and that's kind of backed up in his stats. It was interesting that, that goal return, 7 goals and 4 assists, that's exactly how many goals Harvey Elliott got in the whole season last season, playing in a front three or on the right of a 4-2-3-1, whatever, for Blackburn. So the fact, he could effectively end up on double the amount of goals. Now, Harvey got like double figures for assists, so it says to me that he's definitely a goal threat. He'll carry the ball, he'll take men on, he'll look to make things happen. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about what has been going on and what Carvalho looks like, Steve did Journo Insight today. He spoke to Peter Rutzler of The Athletic to get his insights into what type of player he is, what he could potentially bring to Liverpool, what he's been doing for Fulham this season, how he fits in, his play style, all those kind of things. So if you want to know more about the player, head over to Redmen Plus when we're done here, and that'll get you filled in everything you need to know about it. And look, I've been banging this drum all weekend. We keep extending it because we keep extending the good vibes. If you want to try Redmen Plus out for free for a whole month, use the code Diaz and you get a club captain subscription completely free for a month. We just want you to go and have a look around, feel good, learn more about Liverpool, see what else we do behind the curtain, and hopefully love it. And want to continue and obviously continue to support what we do. Just want to point out, actually, I made a random comment yesterday, like saying some people do Patreon and we make sure we want to offer content in return for it. We've never meant to slate anyone individually. I've used Patreon in the past. There's loads of different ways that you can support your favorite creators. Of course, you can use YouTube memberships, you can just dropping likes, watching videos, sharing videos, all those kind of things. We've always tried to do what we do. I believe in paying people back in content. So we've had the paywall model for 11 years now, I think, but we rebranded it as Redmen Plus because we wanted to be super ultra professional at this time around. So there's loads and loads of documentaries and stuff on there as well. There's a journal insight into Luis Diaz as well, from a Porto journalist on there right now. So if you want to go deeper on that, there's a stat show. There's a documentary on the craftsman at the Kop. There is the Anfield Murals guide on there as well. And yeah, that stat show. So if you want to see how the stats and how Luis Diaz stacks up as a footballer, that's on there as well. But yeah, if you go over there, you click the join now button, which is this big yellow button here, and then you go to a club captain. It's just which is the entry level tier there, which just gets you all the content and all the podcasts. Use the code Diaz and you get it all free for a month. Right, that's that for now. Right, let me just quickly check that there's nothing big or interesting happen. Yes. So yeah, no more breaking news to this. Thank you so much everyone who's joining us so far. We've got a few more comments to get through and do keep them coming in. But yeah, back to Ahmed's point, that would be a very, very exciting comparison. If Carvalho can even be half of what Phil Coutinho was, very, very promising indeed. Jason Jenkins has sent a super chat in, $10. Thank you so much, Jason. Hashtag Red or Dead from Florida. Yeah, man, love the pickup. Happy to see quiet winter windows, but when you can see the build coming, it's a day to sit around and watch us strengthen our club. Yeah, and that's an interesting point, actually, is that, and I was making that earlier, this is not a move for this season, clearly, because if they manage to get this over the line, we won't even see him arrive as a Liverpool player until the summer. He's got the final months of the season to see out with Fulham. This is Liverpool building. And Jurgen Klopp has made a big point about this, is that he doesn't buy players for now or next week or the week after. He buys them for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. There's a 5-year contract that's been agreed with Carvalho. 5-year will take him up to 24 years old. I mean, if he does what the business, he will have hopefully in the new contract well before that point. You do a couple of years and you incrementally build up. And what Liverpool have done, so Liverpool built the bones of the current side, and they built it on incentivized contracts. So you get guys in and you offer them competitive but not incredible basic wages, and then you tag loads of bonuses on. So that's like, you can, if you score goals or you create goals or Liverpool win things, you get more money. And that's why Liverpool's wage bill is high, because they pay high wages and all the players have incrementally earned new contracts. But Liverpool started to win the biggest honours as well, and that kind of thing. But what the hardest position Liverpool have ever been in, and I've never experienced Liverpool in this, is how do you stay at that level? And this is what the contract situation you've got with Mane, Salah and Firmino is that you end up in a position where you start to play your best players bigger wages than you're comfortable doing. Liverpool have been here before, and this is exactly where Liverpool were when FSG took over. Gerrard and Carragher were the top wage earners at the club. Pretty much Suarez would have been in there as well. Carragher was not a couple of years away from retirement, Gerrard following a couple of years after that, and obviously Luis Suarez was the third best player on the planet within a year or so of them coming in as well. But what happened was Liverpool weren't getting the value for money. Pepe Reina went from being the best goalkeeper or in the top 3 goalies in the Premier League to not being able to do that, but he was earning best goalie in the Premier League wages, etc., etc., etc. What Liverpool seem to be doing now, and that's with Jota, with Canate, with Luis Diaz, and the likes of Carvalho and Kate Gordon and Harvey Elliott, is bringing in a crop of the next guys who are good enough to make an impact if required today, or in Carvalho's case from the summer, but with room to grow and improve, and that allows you to make difficult decisions. It makes the difficult decisions on the established stars easier, because if you can get these guys up to speed and up and running and get them learning from them, this is the cutthroat world, by the way. I had some great stories, random aside, how the BBC do things. It's a bit like they hire people in, they hire people's replacements in and have someone train them up, and then don't renew the contract of the old person, which is ruthless. It's a bit like having someone dig their own grave and then shoot them and they fall into the grave, which is a bit gangster, but that's kind of what Liverpool kind of doing. Ideal world, you get to keep your aging stars hungry because they've got this young talent. They get a bit more enthusiasm of youth around them. It's like how your grandparents find, you know, a joie de vivre when grandkids come along, and you're also getting the best players in the world training this new generation. Like Thiago might not be the player that we all hoped he would be. I think he'll be good. But imagine what impact he's going to have on Trent Alexander-Arnold and Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones playing with him in training every week. It was a bit like Michael Owen signing for Manchester United, and he made Javier Hernandez a much better player for it, because they're the added bonuses we never really think about anyway. Stephen Somerville, Irish Rugby, back again. Thank you so much, Stephen. The weekend came in like an RKO out of nowhere. It did indeed. The incredible apex predator that is Liverpool's transfer department just coming in, bang, laying waste to the transfer market right at the death. And, you know, isn't it, it's one of those things, because we clamour for this. We clamour for transfers, we do, because it's one of the funnest parts. It's literally the only reason I still play Footy Manager. It's just to get to the windows and do some signings. It's fun. The actual stress of the season when it's down to you to be good and not cock things up. Speaking of which, there's Lucky Dokie, good to see you. To do things on deadline day, it's mad, isn't it? Because we had this with Oxlade-Chamberlain. We signed him like the night before the window. It was like, oh, come on, just leave it 12 hours so we don't, when we're sat watching the cycle on Sky Sports News, we can just have something to look at. So yeah, Liverpool are making things a little bit more interesting. Would have been nice if they not quite left it to the point where it might not go through, but we'll see. But yeah, it's Crossbow here saying, what a brilliant way to end the window. Now, Salah, look, I mean, the Salah stuff will get done or it won't get done, and we'll deal with that in due course, of course. But yeah, Claudius is one of our YouTube members here saying, thanks for the stream, much appreciated. 2 great buys this window. Any news on Origi's situation? So the word at the moment on Origi is that he is staying. No move on deadline day for Divock Origi, no move for Takumi Minamino. The only thing that's likely to happen now is maybe Neco Williams might go to Fulham on loan, but that seems to be that. Ryan Esteta? Yeah, that was too far away for me to read. Sorry, Ryan. Do we shift to 4-2-3-1 formation with the number 10? No, I don't think we do. Because I think 4-2-3-1 is the formation that gets you 4th. I think the truly elite teams play 4-3-3, particularly in England. And been Barcelona did it for years and whatever. I think Liverpool play 4-3-3 and variants on it. So we, you know, sometimes it's a bit 4-2-3-1-ish. But no, I don't. I think switching to that formation's a bit of a backwards step, if I'm being honest. But what it does mean is that we've used it as a break glass situation in the past, which is why I'm kind of glad Divock's staying, to be perfectly honest. I think he suits the break glass 4-2-3-1 really well, because he's just a bit taller and he's very predatory in the centre forward position. So you can put someone else, put Bobby in the 10, put Divock Origi in the centre forward, and what you might have there, if Carvalho is that maybe he can do that. But realistically, I think Liverpool will either train him to be in rotation with a Harvey Elliott, or maybe they see maybe the team is even deeper. I don't know, or maybe he goes into rotation for the front three. It's wild, but at this point, at that age, it just feels like it's a bit of a no-brainer. £5 million for a young lad who's seen as the hottest talent in the Championship. Even if it doesn't work, you can't really go wrong on that, can you? So yeah. Callum Thompson sent a super chat in. Thank you, Callum. I don't know. Oh yeah, he sent a comment in after. Can we go for a pint, Paul? Love to chat your head off about footy. Sure, why not? I'll be honest. I have this all the time. I think people think I'm well more interesting than I am. And maybe not all people. Maybe people think I'm a massive bore. I did make a joke about Anakin Skywalker getting his legs chopped off at the end of episode 3 in this very video. So it should be fairly clear that I'm a massive bore. And I'm sitting in a room surrounded by comics. I think comics are cool. Anyway, yeah, I'm probably not that interesting, but thanks very much. I'm sure you're lovely. I'm sure you could hold the conversation perfectly and get over my massive social... To overcompensate for my massive social anxiety, it's well easier to talk when you're literally talking to your own face than it is to talk to people in person. Thank you. So thanks so much for that, Callum. Andy App. Oh, wow. Sky Sports are now saying looking unlikely. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Well, there we go. This is the roller coaster. We're here for a little bit longer. Anyway, we'll see if anything else develops in this time. Still no word, still not confirmed. And so, yeah, the drama will continue up to and including deadline day. I mean, look, the point is, I wouldn't worry too much about this for a couple of reasons. Is that there's a chance Liverpool I've requested. Yeah, all of those words, synonyms. For an extension, that's possible. We have seen deals fall down in the last minute, of course, so I wouldn't count our eggs before they're hatched on this one. But what I mean is I don't think it's necessarily, there's 3 minutes and a bit left of the official deadline. What you'll probably find is at about 11:15, they'll see Liverpool have applied for an extension to the deadline to be able to get the deal over the line. Maybe we'll have to see if that is the case or not. I'll just quickly check if Fabrizio Romano's got anything else to add to the situation, because he's always good for something, isn't he? There he is. Jag Singh, why doesn't Matip shoot when he goes on a mad run? And he does. Do you remember the one the other week? I never went shoot, and he literally nearly cleared the copper with it. He should probably do a bit more, right? Okay, so let me see what I've got. Okay, let's find Fabrizio and see if he's got anything else to add to this situation. Yeah, Kings 70 is saying, pretty sure you get an additional 2 hours to finalise the deal. Yeah, but again, they've obviously got to apply for that, and you imagine they would. I don't know why they wouldn't do, of course. Anyway, let's see. A lot of people are just saying this Anfield Watch, saying it's a race against time for Liverpool to sign Carvalho. Dan Burn has joined Newcastle. Couldn't be less arsed. Anel Ahmed Hodzic has signed a new Bordeaux player on loan. Whatever. Islam Slimani joined Sporting. Wow, remember him? And yeah, still no updates on the Fabio Carvalho stuff. But yeah, if you're just joining us, Liverpool have agreed a fee. Liverpool agreed to loan Carvalho back to Fulham till the end of the season. Liverpool have agreed a 5-year contract with the 19-year-old attacking midfielder from Fulham. Everything is agreed, but the paperwork has got to be done and ratified by the Premier League. And we've seen this in the past. So a friend of mine used to work for Rotherham United, of all random things, and she was responsible for running around and faxing things through and literally using a fax to do stuff. And sometimes just things famously David De Gea doesn't complete his move to Real Madrid because of a fax machine issue. But there you go. Yeah, let me know your finalised thought on this. Luke Savadra has just sent a super chat in. Give us your comments underneath, mate, if you want. But yeah, we are now we're into the final minutes. Let's sit around. Let's soak up the final minute together, ladies and gents. just want to point out while we're waiting for that inevitable, one more time, if you want more content and analysis to keep you occupied, we're going to do the podcast, obviously, as always, on a Tuesday on the Redmen YouTube and over on Spotify, Acast, iTunes, all that good stuff. But there is also a stat show on how Luis Diaz is as a footballer, how he could potentially fit in with Liverpool. That's on Redmen Plus. There's a journo insight from the Athletics. Peter Rutzler, and he's one of the people you're seeing right now at the moment, tweeting all about the Carvalho stuff. He spoke to Steve today. That insight is over on Redmen Plus right now, and also Porto journalist Aaron Barton also talking about Luis Diaz, as well as all the documentaries, features, interviews, and all that kind of stuff. And you can get access to that right now if you go over to redmentv.com, join using the big yellow button just there. Go select the club captain membership and use the code DIAZ, D-I-A-Z. That will do for that. Right, okay, we are, I believe, there we go. The deadline day window has officially clapped shut. We shall have to wait and see whether or not Liverpool get this deal officially across the line. What I would say is Liverpool have done the main business. Now Liverpool have decided, and this is why I wouldn't worry too much about the Carvalho stuff. Liverpool wanted Luis Diaz in the summer, and there was a chance that they were going to be gazumped in that. That was going to be taken away from them. So what they've done is they brought that transfer in now till January. So instead of losing out to Luis Diaz, their main transfer target, Liverpool have brought a summer transfer forward to this window. And what they've seen in Fabio Carvalho is a chance to do a canny piece of business, potentially. Now, what we know, a couple of things now. At the moment, as it stands, as I say, if you're just joining us, Liverpool have agreed the fee for Carvalho. They've agreed the contract. They've agreed all the clauses. And they're just waiting to get the deal through the line. However, yes, the deadline day window has officially shut. So we'll have to see. Right, I'm seeing my good mate Neil Jones has apparently put an update out. So let's have a little look at what Jonesy's up to. If you want Neil Jones content, by the way, he's been a big hero of the transfer window in these last couple of days. He does a weekly show with us over on Redmen Plus called the Journo Insight. Right, okay. So he's retweeted a Premier League tweet here. So what this says is, the transfer deadline day deal sheet. This form does not constitute a legally binding contract. Clubs and players are required to comply with all the relevant rules and regulations, the FA, Premier League and FIFA, which relate to players' transfers and contracts. We understand declare the negotiations for this player, have been concluded prior to the closing of the transfer window, the compensation fee to be paid. Right, so effectively, it's just an example. So it says the transfer window is now closed. However, clubs can still complete signings after 11 GMT if they have submitted a deal sheet before deadline. So this is where we're at. Technically, I believe everything was done. I mean, that's what we've been reporting for the last sort of half an hour, that everything's agreed. So theoretically, Liverpool should be filling in one of these pieces of paper and running it down the road and sliding it through the letterbox. That's how this works, right? No, they'll be presumably screenshotting it and sending it by a WhatsApp to whoever and waiting there for the blue ticks and hoping that is the thing that does it. But yeah, that is that. Right. Yeah, still no more official confirmation other than that. But yes, we're into deal sheet territory, so to speak. So if Liverpool want to get the Carvalho deal over the line, then they need to submit a transfer deadline day deal sheet to the Premier League saying that this deal was all agreed prior to 11 o'clock. And that needs to be ratified, and that will allow Fulham and Liverpool the time, because not only, as pointed out by Vinny O'Connor, Liverpool need to say that it's done, like they've signed them, but they've also got to do a loan in return. So it's effectively two deals that need to be done. So I guess it's two deal sheets, which means there's double the things that can go wrong, of course. But yeah, so yeah, here we go. That's where we're at. Carvalho should be a Liverpool player. He won't be playing for Liverpool until the next season anyway, or pre-season for Liverpool in the summer. Hopefully, all things being equal, when we wake up tomorrow morning, Fabio Carvalho will be confirmed as a Liverpool player officially with a Fabrizio Romano. Here we go, and all that good stuff. Andy App with the super chat. We've left it to the last minute. Who's been taking charge of this transfer? Origi? Yeah, definitely, absolutely. I like that. That's how we're getting money, getting a bang for our buck out of his wages these days. Robin Hood with the 8.99. Thank you so much, and thank you for your super chat earlier on as well, mate. Can't wait to see Diaz humiliate defenders and seriously impact this season for us. Don't like those YouTube highlight reels, but Diaz looks so exciting. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Nabil Elzar looked good in his highlight reel as well. But yeah, it's I'm excited. And the thing is, he doesn't even need to impact much this season. He just needs to be fine, get his feet, do a few bits and pieces. Because look, ultimately, at the moment, Liverpool have got 3 20-goal a season forwards in the squad already. A 15-ish one in Firmino, potentially. That's certainly the way he's been trending so far this season, if he gets enough games because of injuries. If we can add another one to that, he just scores a handful of goals, then Liverpool are going to be laughing between now and the end of the season, indeed. Tom Cart 9 with the £5 super chat saying Divoc's going to be here till he's 35. Yeah, and I would keep him. I would give Divock a lifetime contract. One that gets incrementally less every year. And I'm sure he'd be happy because he just seems to be quite happy. Being at Liverpool, but no, his contract is up at the end of the season. There is apparently a clause that says we can renew if he plays a certain amount of games, but this injured period doesn't seem to be helping that in any way, shape or form, so it does seem likely that Divock will move on in the summer. Yes, right. I wish I could leave you with some definitive answer on all this, to be perfectly honest. I'll have one last quick check of all the usual media sources to see where we're at. But as it stands, yeah, Liverpool will find out, I think, in the next 10, 15 minutes, maybe half an hour, if Liverpool have been able to get that transfer sheet over the line or whatever. As mentioned, if you join us, there's a transfer deadline day deal sheet that Liverpool and Fulham both need to fill in to basically confirm to the league the deal was done before 11 and just having a couple of extra hours. So this one looks likely, if we've not had it confirmed bang on 11, then one will extend towards midnight, possibly into the early hours of the morning. But yes, Carvalho trending on Twitter, obviously, because Liverpool are massive. And that is where we're at. Right. Yes, one last word then. Obviously, go and check out Redmen Plus. I feel sometimes like I bang the drum, but if you really believe in something and you really love something and you think you're doing something good, then, if I'm not going to tell you how good it is, it's my job to tell you how good it is. If no one else is going to do it, I will do it. Redmen Plus, it's like Netflix for Liverpool fans. We've got some incredible content coming up leading up to the League Cup. If you use the code Diaz, you get a Club Captain subscription. We've got 2 tiers. Club Captain, Club Legend. Club Captain is just all of the content. Club Legend is a bit more like a Patreon where there's loads of bonus things like free merchandise and you get into our club Discord chat, etc., etc., etc. That's where if you're like a real Redmen super fan and you want to be closer to us and all that. But if you just love Liverpool content and documentaries and match analysis and stats and just fun Liverpool content, then Club Captain, you get that for a month. So you get all the Diaz reaction, all the insight from journalists into Carvalho and Diaz. Chris is doing a stat show tomorrow with some more on Diaz as well, and potentially on Carvalho and some nice little comparisons to what players he's most like. And we are already preparing our League Cup content. So if you use the Diaz code, you'll get the whole of February now free for the month, which means that will encompass the League Cup final. I'm doing some heavy production this week on this. We've got a great documentary story coming up on the League Cup win in 2001, which is amazing. We have got a 5-part premium podcast series about the history of Liverpool and the League Cup, and we've got loads of other extra bits and pieces coming as well. So do go and check that out. As I say, it is there behind me. The RedmenTV.com, Redmen Plus, our streaming platform. Cian, I do that every time I've learned this. Cian O'Doherty. Yes, I'm coming over for the Leicester game next week, meeting in Pop World after the game. Come on, I will be in Pop World when Liverpool win a piece of silverware or the season goes crashing down in flames. And they're the 2 extremes in which I go to Pop World, so probably not Leicester. Or if me and my missus just fancy a drunken night out. So maybe after Leicester. Right, thank you so much. You guys are absolutely amazing. Look, you know, I wouldn't be here without you guys, and you know, and you probably wouldn't be the other way round because that's how that works. But yes, thank you so much for joining me for this one. It's been an epic transfer window. We will have a reaction no matter what happens tomorrow morning. We'll probably do something on YouTube, but we'll definitely do stuff over on Plus as well. So yeah, if you enjoy our content here on YouTube and you've been a subscriber for a while and you want to do more, or you like supporting the channel, then yeah, as I say, we don't like to give things for nothing, or do stuff and just beg or whatever. We've got an amazing streaming service there for you guys, so please do go check it out. Use the code Diaz, and if you get on with it and you love it, laughing, that's why we do it. That is that. Yes, fingers crossed. Fabio Carvalho is a red, but yeah, maybe it's not time just yet to go to bed. See you later. Bye.